This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN Network. And joining me right now is Seth Grae. He is the president and CEO of Lightbridge Corporation. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is LTBR on NASDAQ. And you can actually see Seth give a presentation at our upcoming virtual event, the SNN Network Summer Virtual Event, happening August 17th through 19th, 2021. To register and see his presentation, go to conference.snn.network. With that, Seth, welcome back. It's good to see you. How you doing?
It's good to see you. Everything's good. Hope you're well.
Same to you as well. So, as people probably could decipher from my opening, I've done many interviews with Seth over the years. It's been a couple of years. So because it's been a couple of years, I'd love to get an update. I mean, let's get some highlights from the company in the last, I guess it has been a couple of years.
Yeah. Well, the focus of Lightbridge Corporation is on nuclear power. We're designing advanced fuels to work in existing reactors and new reactors. And what's happened is changes to the company in the last couple of years reflect changes in the nuclear power industry over the last couple of years. In many ways, the United States government is regarding itself and the US companies as being in competition with foreign state-owned companies to deploy globally. And there's a competition to see if Americans will become big exporters with big manufacturing here, as nuclear will be part of clean energy deployed around the world. So what Lightbridge has done in the last couple of years is we've really shifted to aligning ourselves with the US government. And we've been very successful at getting US government funding support and work at their national labs and with their experts. And we very much aligned with clean energy, but also for designing fuel for these coming, what are called small modular reactors, not the big reactors people are used to, but much smaller versions that will be deployed around the world that can particularly benefit from our nuclear fuel technology.
Very good. So I also have here that the company has made some news recently that you got your second funding award from the U.S. Department of Energy, and that you're also testing the Lightbridge fuel at the U.S. national labs. So can you tell us a little bit more about these tests and what this all means for Lightbridge?
Yeah. This has started under the Trump administration when we applied for and won what's called a GAIN voucher from the U.S. Department of Energy. GAIN is the gateway for accelerated innovation in nuclear. And we're doing work at Idaho National Laboratory that is 75% paid for by the US government and 25% paid for by in-kind work by Lightbridge engineers. And what we're doing is we're designing an experiment to actually test our fuel in the Advanced Test Reactor at Idaho National Lab, to help prove it out in that test reactor, which is the largest test reactor in the world. And now under the Biden administration, we've won our second GAIN voucher, also 75% paid for by government and 25% done in kind by Lightbridge engineers. And this one's at Pacific Northwest National Lab in Washington State, where we're working on what's called the casting method, which is the key step in manufacturing our fuel. So we're working under the first GAIN voucher on developing and testing and proving out the fuel and all its benefits. And on the second one, on manufacturing it.
And I have to ask also, what kind of reactors can use the Lightbridge fuel?
Yeah. I mean, it's virtually every reactor that's operating in the world now, and almost all the reactors that are being built and planned, which are what are called water-cooled reactors. These include all of the light water reactors known as pressurized water reactors or boiling water reactors or Russian-type VVER reactors or Canadian or Indian pressurized heavy water reactors. It won't work in some of these advanced reactor concepts for many years from now. But virtually all the current reactors and currently planned reactors, the fuel would work in, both the big versions and the small versions.
I mean, look, I've interviewed you for many years now. I mean, I think I was just searching back. I think the first interview you did with you maybe was back in either 2010 or 2011. So it's been a long road. I mean, why is it taking? Does it take this long to get to where you're at right now?
First of all, to develop and test a nuclear fuel, an advanced nuclear fuel, does take time. We first announced the very concept of this fuel in 2010. So we've come a long way to now we're demonstrating manufacturing it and testing in a reactor. And in this intervening period, we've had events like Fukushima, collapse in natural gas prices, subsidized renewables. And after Fukushima, the reactors we were going to test in Norway and in Canada, we lost access to because those countries' governments decided to close those reactors. And we lost access for political reasons to a reactor in Russia that could have tested the fuel. So the US government has really started to step up at making its facilities for the first time in many cases available to industry, and we're at the leading edge of that. And so that's really part of our alignment with the US government.
Got it. I mean, is there still a risk though? I mean, like, let's say there's another, hopefully there isn't, but let's say there's another, God forbid, a Fukushima in the US, like what happens there?
Well, as you said, I think it's very unlikely, but there are always risks. And I think that the industry did survive that, did go on, is actually larger now than it was the day before Fukushima. And I think that people are beginning to understand that Fukushima did not hurt anyone. Fukushima did not kill anyone. An earthquake did, a tsunami did, but the nuclear incident was an industrial accident that literally didn't even hurt anybody. Now, there were people hurt in evacuating from it, but not from radiation, not from anything from that plant. And that one of the things we're doing with our technology is we're designing it to help prevent an incident like that from ever happening. This fuel runs 1,000 degrees Celsius cooler in a reactor than the fuel at Fukushima did. This fuel has dramatic safety advantages, operational advantages, economic and non-proliferation advantages. And we think that the industry really needs this better technology to help avoid incidents like that, but also to help nuclear compete to bring massive amounts of clean power to the world.
And I think this ties in directly. Why is nuclear energy sometimes misconstrued as this being, a product of industrialization versus a potential source for renewable energy? Why is there this misunderstanding?
Yeah, there are definitely people who claim to support renewable energy or clean energy who are anti-nuclear. And the nuclear power industry, probably could have done a much better job over the years of dealing with its own image and how it dealt with things. But right now, nuclear provides much more than half of all the clean electricity produced in the United States. It's the biggest single producer of clean electricity in the world. The world cannot meet climate goals for 2050 unless the energy mix includes a significant increase in nuclear power in the world. So I think the industry needs to prove and show with technology like Lightbridge has that it can be deployed very, very safely, that this is an extremely safe industry. I would argue that nuclear is the safest industry in the history of the United States. In the history of the US nuclear power industry, no one has ever died from nuclear power ever in this country for such a large industry that provides 20% of all the electricity in the country. And so I think that we can overcome that as an industry. I think Lightbridge in particular with our technology will be a leader in that.
Very good. And then before I let you go, from what you can tell us, are there any milestones that that you'd like investors to potentially look out for from Lightbridge over the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, sure. I'd say the first is that under this first gain voucher at Idaho National Lab, we will be finishing that up this year and releasing information that will show the much more detailed conceptual design of the fuel, and we'll enter into a contract with the government to actually then manufacture that fuel using what's called high assay, low enriched uranium that will be provided by the government. This is very exciting to people in nuclear. And the next one I'd say is that we're starting work under the second gain voucher to demonstrate the process, and the government will be working with us using depleted uranium, demonstrating these advanced manufacturing processes that we've come up with and we've patented. So I think you'll see a lot of very good milestones before the end of this year and into next year from Lightbridge.
Very good. Well, Seth, with that, where can our audience go and find more information on Lightbridge Corp?
Well, always contact us at ir@ltbridge.com. You can certainly see our website at ltbridge.com, but we like to hear from investors or like to talk to you, and we look forward to any contact.
Very good. Seth, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Good luck. Stay safe. And I look forward to our next update.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.